The last time they met, the crowd was deafening. Thousands of Filipino fans packed into Court 6 at Melbourne Park, waving Philippine flags, chanting, "Let's go, Alex," so loudly that the chair umpire had to caution them multiple times. It was a pressure cooker, and Alycia Parks was the one standing on the wrong side of it. She lost the first set 6-0 in just 22 minutes. She looked shell-shocked. But then, something changed. Parks found her rhythm, silenced the crowd, and stormed back to win 0-6, 6-3, 6-2. Now, 8 months later, they're meeting again. In Toronto, in front of another sold-out crowd of 10,000 Filipino fans. And just before the match, Parks made a statement that left everyone stunned. What she said revealed the mindset of a fighter who thrives on chaos. And it left the tennis world wondering, is Alex Eala about to face the most dangerous version of Alycia Parks yet? To understand the magnitude of this rematch, you have to go back to January 2026, the Australian Open, Alex Eala's main draw debut. She was ranked 49th in the world, but she was already a national hero. The Philippines had never produced a tennis star like her. And when she stepped onto Court 6 in Melbourne, the crowd exploded. Hundreds of fans had queued for hours, some arriving as early as 5 a.m., desperate to get a seat. Thousands more were turned away, forced to watch on big screens outside. Inside the stadium, Philippine flags filled every corner. Every point Eala won was met with deafening roars. The atmosphere was electric. And Parks, the 25-year-old American ranked 99th in the world, was completely overwhelmed. Parks lost the first set in just 22 minutes. 6-0. Bagel. She looked lost. Her shots were misfiring. The crowd was getting into her head. It was very difficult. Parks would later admit, "I was expecting it, but I also wasn't expecting it." She definitely has a good crowd. But then, something shifted. Parks dug deep. She silenced the noise. She found her rhythm. And over the next 2 sets, she completely turned the match around. She won 6-3, 6-2, breaking Eala's serve twice in the deciding set. When the final point landed, the crowd fell silent. Parks had done the unthinkable. She had beaten the hometown hero on her home court. The upset sent shockwaves through Melbourne Park. And Parks knew she had just faced one of the most hostile crowds she would ever encounter. 8 months have passed since that night in Melbourne. And now, Alex Eala and Alycia Parks are set to face each other again. This time, in Toronto. The stakes are even higher. Eala is now ranked world number 20, fresh off her historic DC Open victory, where she defeated 3 of the top seeds in the draw. She is the hottest player on the WTA Tour, carrying the momentum of a revenge tour that has seen her avenge losses to her last 6 opponents. But Parks is a different player now, too. She has climbed from number 99 to number 71, and she is not intimidated by the crowd. Just before the match, Parks made a statement that shocked the tennis world. She was asked about the crowd, about the pressure, about facing Eala in front of another sold-out stadium of Filipino fans. And her response was stunning. "It's a little bit of extra pressure," she admitted. "But I'm ready for it." It definitely wasn't the worst. But in between first and second serves, and the clapping when you miss, that's just something I had to ignore and get used to the whole match. It was a statement of defiance. Parks was not afraid. In fact, she was embracing the challenge. But the most shocking part of her statement came when she talked about her record in hostile environments. "I don't know what my record is with crowds that are against me, but it definitely puts a fire under me. I would say I'm good when crowds are against me." Those words were a warning. Parks wasn't just saying she could handle the pressure. She was saying she thrived on it. That the more the crowd cheered against her, the stronger she became. It was the kind of statement that leaves opponents shaken. And it sent shockwaves through the tennis world. But if Parks was ready for a hostile crowd, she had no idea what she was about to face in Toronto. The Eala effect had reached a level that few players, male or female, had ever achieved. When tickets for Eala's match went on sale, they sold out in 30 minutes. The tournament director, Carl Hale, was stunned. "We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect," he said. The demand was so intense that organizers had to move her match from the grandstand to center court, a stadium with a capacity of 10,000. Even that wasn't enough to accommodate all the fans. And here's the detail that shocked everyone. According to multiple reliable sources, the only player to achieve this level of ticket demand in Toronto over the last 2 decades was Serena Williams. Not Rafael Nadal. Not Roger Federer. Not Novak Djokovic. Just Serena. Eala, at 21 years old, was now being mentioned in the same breath as the 23-time Grand Slam champion. The tournament director for the DC Open had already seen this phenomenon. Mark Ein revealed that ticket sales for Eala's matches had risen by at least 80%, if not more. He added, "Honestly, I think it's more. When you look at the amazing players here and how many great stars there are, it says something about Alex's following." The Eala effect had become a movement. But Parks was ready for the crowd. She had been in this situation before. At Roland Garros, she had played in front of partisan crowds. At Wimbledon, she had faced the pressure. She had learned to channel the energy. Having played in similarly partisan environments at Roland Garros, Parks credited that experience with what ultimately got her over the finish line, reported Tennis Head. She had developed a mental routine that allowed her to block out the noise. "I just kept telling myself to stay in the zone and that I got to do what I got to do," she said. Parks' biggest weapon is her serve and her power game. In their last meeting, she drained 12 aces against 10 double faults and had 40 winners. If she can keep that up, she could cause major problems for Eala. But Parks also had a vulnerability: consistency. She can go through patches where she sprays errors. If Eala can get into long rallies and force Parks into mistakes, she will have a chance to dominate. Parks herself admitted that her game plan had been lacking in the first set in Melbourne. "I was starting to think I wasn't focused on the game plan, which is why I played better in the second and third set," she said. This time, she was determined to be prepared from the start. The match will be decided not just by tennis shots, but by psychological warfare. Parks has already shown she can handle the crowd. She has already proven she can beat Eala. She has already said the pressure puts a fire under her. That is a dangerous mindset. But Eala is a different player now. She has avenged losses to her last 6 opponents. She has defeated 4 of the top seeds in the world. She has a 7-0 record in her last 7 matches against top 20 opponents. And she has her revenge tour to fuel her. The memory of the Melbourne loss is still fresh in Eala's mind. "I think it's only normal that with a loss comes disappointment and being upset," she said at the time. "But then again, it's another opportunity for me to take and learn and grow." That growth was on full display in Washington. She dismantled world number 3 Jessica Pegula in the final, winning 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. She is playing the best tennis of her career, and she is determined to prove that the 6-0, 6-3, 6-2 loss in Melbourne was just a learning experience. The final point will land. The crowd will erupt, and one of these 2 players will walk away with her head held high. Alycia Parks has made her statement. She is ready. She is not afraid. She has said that hostile crowds fuel her fire, and that she has a history of winning in partisan atmospheres. The tennis world was stunned by her defiant words. But the match is not decided in press conferences. It's decided on the court. And Alex Eala is on the revenge tour of a lifetime. "I promise that I will continue to represent the Philippines in the best way that I possibly can," Eala had said. Those words now apply to an entire nation. The children who grew up watching her, dreaming of becoming like her. The fans who see in her a reflection of their own struggles and triumphs. The nation that rallies behind her, united by a shared dream. This was not the end. It was the beginning of something far greater. Toronto had been stunned by the Eala effect, and the world was watching to see what would happen next.